guys here of these wands. Let's see if I can get that close. This is a copper tube that's been nano-coated. And so nano-coating deposits or grows thousands of layers of carbon on top of the copper. So much so that it's absorbing all fields, including light, which is why it appears black to our eyes. And then these materials get dipped into other nanomaterials that exist in the body. And I've been sharing this with people and having them, there's a little identification number so I know which prototype it is. But I've been getting people to hold them in their hands and sit in meditation or whatever they want to do with it. And some very intense dream time has been happening for people. One woman in particular she had a pair of them and held them in meditation for 10-15 minutes before bed, went to sleep, and her dreams that night and her partner's dreams that night synced up. So she was having an experience dreaming about introducing her current partner to her first boyfriend. Meanwhile, his dream was exactly the opposite. He was introducing her to his first girlfriend and their whole families. And they woke up and she told him the dream and he went, "Are you kidding? That's what I dreamt." And they looked around the house and they said, "Well, the only thing that's new is these babies here." And I thought that was really cool. I have shared this with other people who have also had a noticeable change happen in the body, especially through meditation and dream time. So the purpose of the I don't have a name for these yet, but the wand is to expand the soul field beyond the physicality. And if we can go into that state every night in our dream time, which is actually real life, and we've not really given it that credence, we can go and be anywhere. And so as we expand our fields, this is essentially what the Keshe Foundation is doing with their more advanced systems, is they are creating a containment field where the soul of the body of the individual who's sitting within the field can expand out and encompass the physicality, as opposed to the reverse. As it stands, our body encompasses our soul. And it's essentially the magnetic field of the blood that's pumping through our body that's containing that soul. And so if you can imagine at death, well, that containment field of the blood drops away. That iron field is no longer there. And so the soul can go and it can travel. And so what they're doing in these systems in Austria is actually creating a field where that magnetic field of the body's blood is reduced, more like a sleep state. But they're still operating in a space where the body gets everything that it needs. It's not in pain, it's not in suffering, and nothing's happening, you're not dying. And the body's physicality is now encompassed by the soul. That soul can then go and jump anywhere it wants at faster than, like, we're talking, we always think that light is the fastest thing that moves to the universe. That is the most hilarious joke I have ever heard. It is pitifully slow. Has anybody ever tried to measure how fast a magnet is? I can tell you it's a lot faster than light. So this is the way that this interaction is working in these advanced systems, and we're essentially going from place to place instantly and being manifested in that location where we end up going with the body that we need for that magnetic field of that location. So if you happen to go through these systems and go on a soul journey, and I'm going to be going with you in a few months or in a few weeks into these systems, and we'll likely be in the system at the same time. And that will essentially allow for a number of things to occur, but essentially for us to mirror and to say, "Hey, I saw you and you looked like this," and you go, "Hey, I saw you and you looked like that." And it's a confirmation of what's happening. It's not some imaginary state or some trance that I went into and you went into, but it's full recall. And so that's really exciting, and I have a feeling that these systems are doing a lot more than what they seem to be. And it's always, Keshe Foundation always does this. They sneak one thing under that you're never going to pay attention to, and really you think you're going in to have a soul journey to go to the moon or go to Mars or whatever. Meanwhile, you might be getting activating gifts innately that have been kind of hidden and buried. And that's what I really feel when I hear the interviews of the people that have come out of the system. Their emotion is so shifted. It is intense. They almost can't speak. And there's something there that just feels like they've been completely changed from the inside out. And this is now weeks and weeks later. Some of the people whose voices I hear in these calls, they happen to immediately know more about the technology. They understand things better than they used to. And they didn't spend hours and hours researching. They just went into a space where they gave everything. They gave all of their experience, their entire life to the system and said, this is who I am. This is what I've experienced. This is a gift to you. And as you empty your cup out, it's now empty to be filled from the fields of the universe, which your soul is then making a request for, hey, I'd like to whatever. And so these examples are just, I mean, I could go on, but I'm just so stoked and excited to know that this technology is here and literally nothing can stop it. No fear in me. There's no fear in my body at all to speak on this ever. And people come up to me, oh, let's hope that the white hats are in. It is irrelevant. It is the most hilarious thing I've ever heard. And there's a media blackout on Keshe Foundation. There has been for 20 years. So you'll never hear about this from the news.